Hi everybody, it's Mike here from Two Dads UK. Welcome to another episode of our COVID support sessions in our second series, which is 19 Parenting Crises. And this particular series, as we know, looks at what lockdown has been like for all of us. But what I wanted to do with difference this time is invite some of my favourite accounts from off the gram and get them here talking not only about their account, but just talking about lockdown generally and what it's been like for them. This guest, not only has over 100,000 followers on Instagram, she is pretty super at getting stuff done and organising stuff. Yeah, I thought I was organised, and this woman puts me to shame. If you're not following this account already, and I'm sure most of you are, it's This Girl Can Organise, and I'm talking today to Nicola. How are
Hey!
you?
Hi, really well, thank you.
No problem. How are things there?
Yeah, very good actually. The children, well, my eldest has just finished her online schooling, and the youngest is still doing it. So it's like one off, one on. And I've just been cleaning windows, as you do.
I have seen. I need to get one of those white brushes in my life. I've got the
Honestly,
V11, I've got the Dyson, which is just incredible.
amazing. I've never had a Dyson before. So I literally go around the house either like James Bond or Stormtrooper because it makes all these noises. I'm like,
when you press it and release it, it does that noise.
I know, it's so sexy, isn't it? It's like,
I love it. I do love a Dyson. I am a Hoover geek. Right. So, for anyone that doesn't follow you or hasn't heard of the account, which I cannot believe that's the case, tell me about your account.
So This Girl Can Organise essentially is a page to help and motivate people who want to declutter and get organised. The page was set up 2 years ago actually, because I started the business 3 years ago and I was a bit late to Instagram, and so I decided to set it up purely for the people, just to share some of the bits that I was doing on a daily basis, my before and afters. Also, when it's your own business, because I have a business going to people's houses, it gets quite boring on your own. So that's why I set up the social media page, because it was an interaction with people, and I quite like that. I'm very much a people person, and yeah, the rest is history. It just, I've always thought I'm talking to a friend whenever I do my stories, just showing real life practical solutions at home, mucking about, lip syncing, having fun, don't really overthink things, you see, and it works out, 140 odd like it, so
it's a
nice.
tremendous account. I love it, and I'm quite late to the party getting there, and I'm going through all of you. I'm one of those people that follow that you'll find a like from a post from like 18 months ago.
I get that every now and again through with followers, and it's really lovely that people take that time to look back, because I think with Instagram, I mean, that's always been my kind of, not concern, but you write such good content or you do something and then it just gets lost because it's yesterday's news.
So true.
So it is nice when someone does start your page and they look way back, that very first photo. I was very conscious not to delete things like that. I wanted to show the journey. Sound like I'm on X Factor now, don't I? But I did, and it really was. And regardless of likes, it's never been about likes. It's about what I believe in and what I feel people would like to hear, or what I'm experiencing at this moment in time. So yeah.
Well, I love it, and just before obviously we started recording, I shared with you that there's one post that you've got which has just and I think I actually commented on the picture. It is your battery storage unit.
Oh, okay.
I put mine in an old Tupperware type box, and I thought I'm really fancy. I looked at yours, and there's holes for every size, and it's amazing.
The problem is now I really wish I'd have had that when the girls were so much smaller, because especially at Christmas, you know, it's one of
Yeah.
those things where you just go through tons of batteries, and then you're like, where are they? And they're in that drawer. I swear I bought some last time.
Yeah.
And I used to have them in separated boxes, a bit like you, until I saw that last year, and I thought, oh my goodness me, you are going in the cart. Um, and it is revolutionary, but it does make you feel like you want to keep topping them up. That's the only
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I
I
can
would
just
be.
see a few
I
empty. I'm
couldn't.
like, oh,
No, I couldn't. I couldn't leave an empty one. Yeah,
yeah.
it would drive
It's
me
so
insane.
satisfying, and it really is very pleasing on the eye, I
No,
have to
it's
say. And
beautiful.
that one I've got is really good because you can actually, if you've got a garage or a utility room, you can actually drill it to the wall. So it's
Amazing.
even,
Oh my God.
imagine.
Man, I'm getting excited thinking
Ah,
about it. Yeah, I'd be inviting my mates round to come and have a look at it. That's how sad I'd be.
I know.
Right. Let's talk then. How has lockdown been for you then, Nicola?
Okay, so lockdown for us has had various different emotions and feelings. When I think back at the beginning, I think I'm very good in high panic risk situations. My previous history was investment banking, and I worked on a
Oh,
trading
wow.
floor for 15 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was very used to working in these sort of scenarios with dramatic news and things like that, and it all being very hustle and bustle. So I actually went into survival mode and started writing plans and adding structure to the home, creating zones in the home. You know, we had a little gym area, we had a place for meditation. I got the kids involved and got them to write down things that they wanted to do each week, because obviously they were conscious that they weren't seeing friends and going to school. So it was really kind of blow the whistle, off we go, but in the
Yeah.
nicest possible way. It wasn't strict. It wasn't, you know, Captain Von Trapp, but it was it was really interesting to see how I started off like that. And then through the middle, I would say we realized that we adapted better as a family, going day by day.
Hmm.
So instead of planning on a weekly basis, because we didn't know when the end was near, we went on, you know, what were we going to do today? What do we want to eat for lunch? I was sick of being asked what's for lunch, what's for dinner. So I got a whiteboard and we just wrote everything down. And that way, everyone in the house could see what's for lunch and
Yeah.
what's for
Perfect.
dinner,
And you did those
right?
little boxes with like lunch all
I did the
pre-designed.
snack boxes right at
Love
the
it.
beginning, but I've been doing the snack boxes for since they were little. I always have done those since half term and some holidays, purely
Brilliant.
because I can't bear listening to the kids going, "Can I have? I'm hungry. I want to." And do you know what? My kids now don't ask for snacks. It's quite strange,
Mm.
especially obviously I know they're a bit older, but they know the process, and it's always been there for them to you know, see. But it also teaches them that once something's gone, it's gone.
Gone.
And it's
That's a good
it's
life lesson though. That's a great
exactly,
life lesson.
it's a great life skill. And that's something, I mean, some would say I'm probably not hard on my kids, but I treat them a little bit like little mini adults. But the way I look at it, I treat them like mini human adults, because I want them to be able to defend and do things for themselves. You know, they've got mother and father for comfort, for guidance, for reassurance, but I also see it, you know, being a teacher to them for life. And it's something that my mum did with me.
Mhm.
And listen, there is no perfect mum or father role out there.
Yeah.
I think we're all doing our best. And ultimately, we just want everyone to be happy and content. And that's the most important thing. So having some of these sort of tools has really kind of helped us in lockdown. We've definitely hit our rock bottoms. I mean, I'd say the last 2 weeks have been pretty tough.
Yeah. I think the last 2 weeks haven't they? I don't know what it is. And
Well, I think we've gone through one pandemic and now we're going through another virus. And, you know, it is shocking to see that things aren't changing in our world. And
no.
I stand, you know, fist up for, you know, against racism,
Yeah.
against anti-gay,
Yeah.
anti-bully, anti-hate, all of these things. It's unnecessary. We're all educated. We've got education tools to allow us to know what's right and wrong. And when we're born, we're not born hating anything. You know, we're born just to learn to love. And sadly, you know, that's what we've got to overcome. Basically, victory and change will happen, and it will come.
Yeah.
But it's just, I feel like it's sort of, we were bobbing quite nicely, and I feel like we've just been dunked back again under the water.
So
yeah, but we will get there. We will get there. It's just what I do in these situations is I slow everything back. I take it back to basics. I don't put any pressure on myself. You know, I know some accounts on social media find it very, very hard to be present. They need to be present, and they need to be happy, and they need to be showing what they've been doing all of their career on here.
It's
And
draining.
to me,
It can be draining.
yeah, to me, I didn't want to do that. I thought, right, my strategy's got to change. I'm sure people don't want to be seeing me every day going, right, today we're going to do this. And they're like, oh, it's like the worst teacher replacement has come in on Instagram. So, you know, some days I've done stuff and it's blown people's socks off. Some days I've just gone, no, I'm just going to watch a film and just potter around in my garden. Gardening's been a massive thing for me.
I've loved gardening. I've really gotten into it.
I think with the gardening thing, gardening is obviously amazing therapy, right?
Yeah.
We don't really realise it. But we're outside with nature, we're here in nature, we're planting nature. Gardening is expensive as well.
Yes, I've just done that one.
Blinking Nora. So we've had to stop that for a little bit. But it's still nice. We've done a lot of make, do, amend. That's been another massive ethos of mine during lockdown, is making do with what we've got and turning it into something else.
Nice.
So yeah, we've been doing a lot of that, mainly in the garden, just because we want to get outside. It's another room, you know, sick of being inside all the time.
Totally. So would you say gardening's helped get you through it? If we're looking at what,
yeah, gardening's certainly been both my husband and I's saviour, because we're both self-employed. He works in television and live TV, so that has been massive in terms of him not having no work, and we're not quite sure when he's going back as well. You know, with me going to my clients, you know, I've had to evolve my business, and you know, I'm not just an Instagram page. Even though I may get flagged as an influencer, I never really think of myself as an influencer. I just think of myself as a businesswoman, really. But I think gardening, music playlists, podcasts.
That's my next question. You're ahead of me. So what's been your soundtrack to lockdown?
Well, the soundtrack that I've been listening to mainly has been TikTok for my teenagers. Because that's what is always on in the background. So I know all of those. No, our music is quite contemporary, really. Like we listen to, gosh, it could be anything from Motown to to Beatles to, I mean, I do love my soul and swing, ring a ding ding. I love my soul music. It's funny, we've got to play. My husband's been putting on this playlist. I'll tell you also, Radio 6 is one of my go-to radio stations.
I've never listened to Radio 6.
Have you not? Honestly, put it on. It's amazing because it's so collective. It's really, and they're most of the, are they presenters? Are they called presenters?
Yeah.
DJs.
Yeah, DJs.
Are so soothing. Their voices are just
like, really?
And
we need that right now. We need that right now.
Yeah, and I also find they don't really go bang in on the news, because that was the one thing at first we didn't have on was the radio. We really reduced all our information sources.
Absolute same. That's exactly what we did. My notifications on my phone for news, I turned them off, because the Sky News one was terrifying to hear it was I was getting anxiety from the sound of it, so that got cancelled. What the TikTok things makes me smile because we've got a 16-year-old, and it's as if kids can only talk in actions when everything's like got a TikTok move to it. I'm like, Kate, do you want to come and have some food? And she's like, I'm doing all the, and I'm like, well, I'm just asking you if you want to come into the kitchen. Their arms are everywhere.
Yeah, it is. It's like, and what makes me laugh even more is that you could be making something in the kitchen and the song now comes on the radio and they go full on into
din, 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 din.
yeah, and renegade, yeah, and I'm like, what? But it has made me smile. It has really made me smile.
No, it's been
I
good.
didn't really I got involved in one little dance with her because I just thought, you know what, it's not about age, but I've loved all like the Carry On. Golden Girls is one of my favorite sitcoms, and so I was doing a few of those just because I thought they were funny. But I'm not really massively into it myself. I know that they are, and it is fun. I do watch it through with them, but I can't let it consume my day. I've got so many other things to be getting on.
Tell us about some of the things that a lot of what we're talking through now is a lot of what I want to talk about is being answered nice and naturally, which is lovely. The homeschool thing we've kind of covered because you've I think how you've dealt with that and you've documented that really well.
Yeah.
Would you, during this entire process, is there anything that you would have done differently?
I would like to have started an album. I would love to have started like a little bit of a photo. I mean, we have got some photos and I have obviously documented some of it and saved it onto highlights. But for personal reasons, I would have liked to have done maybe like a diary or some kind of, to look back on this period, even though I don't think we're completely over it.
No.
That's something I would have done. What else would I have liked to have changed? No, I think, as in Kylie Minogue would say, I wouldn't change a thing. I
Good
think,
reference.
yeah, I literally have created now such a lovely peaceful vibe in our home. Really loved having everyone all together. Like we've cocooned somewhat. And I also think it's made me stop. So before this all happened, I literally had quite a scary health scare in February, and then this all happened. And after coming out of hospital, I just sat there and thought, right, okay. And then the first week in, I thought, I'm not going to be jumping around doing exercise, this, that, and the other. But I'm just going to embrace each week and let's see how it goes. And that is a little bit of my nature anyway. I'm very calm. And I do step back a little bit and just survey what's going on first before rushing into things. So you can see two sides of the story here, can't you? You can see like the person who's quite like, right, let's get this going. And then I edge back and just sort of sit on the side, really. And I've really enjoyed doing that. And I feel like it's really made me rest.
Good.
Personally. But yeah, I guess, for me, being a mother, I constantly am worrying about my kids and how they're coping and, making sure that they're happy, making sure that they've got enough. My husband, he's an amazing man and just very chilled and very supportive and has helped out so much. In fact, so much so he's done pretty much everything because I've been working. So yeah, there's nothing really I would change. I'm really grateful.
That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Before we finish then, Nicola, I can let you crack on with finishing the windows or getting can you give me I'm going to try and this might catch you off guard, apologies if it does, but can you give me 3 to 5 top tips of what should we be looking at now, or just give us some tips, and it doesn't have to be it can be anything related. It can be as broad as you want it to be.
Tips on what, going back into
lockdown, or
in the
any
house?
new organising tips, or what should we be?
Organising tips.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, well, I can give you loads. I think the main top tip is to not compare yourself to anyone else, and to do things at your own pace and your own speed that's going to suit you and your family. You know, it's very, very difficult now to not look at other people's pages and accounts and neighbours and think, oh God, I want that. Look what makes you happy and start off with a plan. So goes on to the next one, which is, I always work from a pen and paper. So I always plan everything. The minute I start to wobble or find something a little bit overwhelming, I just kind of break it down. So whether that's on a whiteboard, whether that's on a piece of pad, or like an inventory inside your cupboards or something, if you don't want to see it out there. Digital, I did used to try digital, but it used to get lost.
I'm like you. I love a pad. I love a to-do list.
Yeah.
I've got a
It's quite
whiteboard.
therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
I love
really
marking it
therapeutic.
off.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, that's something I definitely recommend. In terms of organising and decluttering, I always suggest that people start small. It's very easy to go, right, we're going to do the wardrobe, let's empty it all out. And all of a sudden, everything's out on your bed and you're like, what? It's so overwhelming. And if it's something you don't really like doing, you just don't know where to start. So I always suggest start with a small space. Make sure you've got you know, some bags around you, so put them into piles, whatever it is. It's the keep, donate, bin or recycle. Sometimes there could be a fifth pile actually, which could mean go to other rooms, because you know how, especially with kids sort of bring their stuff into everyone's rooms.
Yeah.
So you know, it's about putting things into piles, and that makes things quite satisfying really, because you can then go, right, I'm going to take all the stuff that doesn't belong in this room out first, and then you get on, you know, interrupted with life, and then you come back into that room and go, oh, got to finish this off. Oh look, there's the pile for the bin, let's get all that in the bin, get that out, and soon you get left with the things that are only left in that space. And that's quite satisfying. And that doesn't necessarily need to be done that day. You can spread that out, you know. So it's about not putting pressure on yourself and you realizing you're in control. So yeah, I guess they're all my top tips.
I love that. Thank you. On that note, I have a set of drawers next to me on my desk that are horrendous when you open it. So maybe that's what I'll do next.
We'll start with the top drawer. Always start with one and just think, I'm going to sort you out once and for all.
Yes, it is. It's going to get it. It's going to get it. Nicola, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, super, for doing this. I'm going to let you get back to what you need to. I really appreciate it. Look, thank you. You too, darling.
You're welcome.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See ya.
If you like what you've seen so far, head over to our website at www.twodaddies.co.uk. There you can read our blog and subscribe to our newsletter. Or find us on Facebook and Instagram, simply searching at twodads.u.k.